Oleksandr Usyk has dominated the heavyweight division, and everyone keeps saying, how can you beat him? Can he even be beat? Now, Oleksandr Usyk is a rhythm fighter. Now, he's never still. He's never in one place. He's stepping to the left, he's stepping to the right, he's punching, he's ducking, he's bobbing, he's weaving. But how do you beat such a fighter? Now, there's two methods to beat those type of fighters, two proven methods, may I add, to beat those rhythmic fighters, and I'm going to show you both ways. The first, which I'm going to explain, is by freezing the rhythm, and the second is by overwhelming them. So I'm going to use Floyd Mayweather, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, and Manny Pacquiao to explain how you need to beat Oleksandr Usyk. Stay tuned. Rhythm fighters like Oleksandr Usyk, they're never still, they're always moving. And they don't win just based on skill, how well they can throw a punch or do a defensive movement. They win because they control the exchanges via tempo, rhythm, and timing. Now, once you react to their timing, once you react to their rhythm, you've taken the bait, and they're in control, and they will dictate the terms of the fight. So, the first method in which you're going to use to beat a rhythmic fighter is by following Floyd Mayweather Jr., the master of the art of being still. Now, Mayweather is very passive in this manner. You don't see Mayweather ever bobbing from left to right. He's always still. He's always focused. His eyes are glued on his opponent, just like a hawk, like an eagle, like an owl, just watching, razor sharp focus. Now, this isn't passive in the sense of he's gonna, as if he's like in a cowardly manner. He's passive in the sense that he's just still, he's not moving. But when you have this type of style, what you're doing is you're observing, you're studying, you're watching your opponent, because when a fighter is moving, you can time their timing, you can time their rhythm, you can understand through observation, you can understand and see the moments and when they're gonna time your strike, or when they're going to time their defensive movement. But you need to be really focused and glued on your opponent. So Mayweather did this against Marcus Madonna. He did this against Ricky Hatton. Now, they had almost like a swarmer style. They're coming forward, they're throwing overhand shots. And what Mayweather did is he stayed composed, really sharp, well positioned, and he's just watching them, because when they go to the left, when they go to the right, then when they suddenly strike, he's aware, because he's watching, and he can react with the correct defensive move and then counterattack. So this style of beating a rhythmic fighter is probably the harder style, but it's the cleaner, more clear style. You need to really work on your mental agility, because that's what it comes down to. It comes down to your mental agility, how well you can focus on the target and watch it, follow it. See every single pop, every single dip, every single step, and just watch it. Be aware of your distance. Be aware of what potential punches they can throw. If they dip to the left, you need to know a left hook could come. Or they could do an arm punch for two. You need to be really aware of all of these things. When you are aware of all of these things, and you're watching them, and you're still, you'll be able to notice the moment in which they try to strike you. Now, the main thing is that when you're still, their rhythm can't catch you off guard, but you can turn their flow into hesitation, because you're so still, you're not reacting. They need you to react, but when you don't react, they can overthink and they can make mistakes, and that's when you're going to counteract, bam, and find the gaps. Now, another example in which you can watch just to understand, because this example is going to help illustrate what I'm saying to you so much more clearer. When Manny Pacquiao was storming the division, destroying all opponents, he boxed Joshua Clottey, and Clottey was meant to be another fight to keep Pacquiao taking over. Pacquiao was going to smash him out of there. Clottey changed the script. Now, even though Pacquiao won the fight, he didn't win it in any such manner that he was previously, or he did afterwards. Manny Pacquiao is a rhythm fighter, and he's a proven rhythm fighter to a lot higher standard than Usyk is, because he was destroying guys in 8 divisions. So he's a really good boxer. But what did Clottey do? When Manny Pacquiao was doing pendulum step, attacking, high and low, Clottey was just still. Now, when Clottey was still, it means that he didn't play the game. Now, when Pacquiao's a rhythmic fighter and he's going in and out, just like Usyk, they're going in and out. You might see AJ in the box, Usyk, these fighters, they're trying to play the rhythm game with them, but they can't because Usyk is a superior boxer in that manner when it comes to being superior. So if you play that game with them, you lose. But if you're still, they have nothing to counteract with. They want you to make a move. And when you make the move, they'll time a defense and then time a counter. Because your attack is almost a mistake. But when you make no mistakes, they have nothing to work with. And then you limit the choices that they can make. And then they're just out there walking around and they're just thinking like, what the hell is going on? So Joshua Clottey is a perfect example of how being still can just really put a stop on a rhythmic fighter's flow. Now, the second method isn't by being still. It's actually the total opposite to being still. It's breaking the rhythm, denying it, overwhelming it. And that's by being a pressure fighter. So the rhythm's here and they're bouncing and they're moving, they're being all slick and all nice. And instead of you being still, or instead of you trying to match it, you just attack. You just charge them with your own rhythm. You're dipping, you're ducking at a faster tempo than they're moving at, and you're just attacking. This is going to break their rhythm because you're moving at a faster pace and you're forcing them to have to use their timing rather than flowing their rhythm. And if you keep attacking, you're going to force them to go purely to defense. You're literally telling them, you are not going to be able to use rhythm against me right now. I'm going to stop it. And a really good example of this is Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. So when they first boxed, Ali he came from a layoff, but Ali is just like Usyk. Similar height, very similar weight, very similar style. Like Ali was shuffling, he was dancing, using his rhythm, time and attack, and then we're back to his flow. Usyk is literally like just a modern day European Muhammad Ali. And Joe Frazier, he's very similar to Derek Chisora, who gave Usyk probably his toughest fight that we've seen in the heavyweight so far. And that's based on styles. Now, Joe Frazier managed to get the victory over Muhammad Ali because Joe Frazier is a former world champion, he's an all-time great. But Derek Chisora, although he's a phenomenal boxer, he hasn't got a phenomenal career when you look at his record. And what this suggests is that although he has the skill to compete, he hasn't got the skill or the mental know-how to win, which likely could be a reason why Usyk overcame him, because his ability to win isn't as great as his ability to box. But nonetheless, he caused Usyk some serious issues. And although, in my opinion, Usyk clearly won the fight, it was a very tough fight because he was being cut off and forced to work at Chisora's flow rather than him dictating the flow and rhythm of the fight. He was forced to move at Chisora's flow. So this is the style of overwhelming and beating these opponents that is really, really effective. Again, you're talking about Usyk, who's undefeated, who's completely unified the cruiserweight division. Now he's dominated, unified the heavyweight division. And Derek Chisora hasn't even won a single world title, and he gave him his toughest fight based on style, which lets you know enough that style is really, really a credible style at beating rhythmic boxers. It's been proven by Joe Frazier and Ali that when they're both equally matched, like they're both world level fighters, that style would more than likely triumph over the rhythmic fighter style. It's been proven already. Proven styles. I'm only giving you the facts. So when you're in there with somebody like Usyk, who's got really good footwork and rhythm and feints, he's flowing, he's dipping, he's pop, he's in and he's out, you've either got to be still. Because when you watch Usyk box AJ, for example, he knows AJ is a big puncher, so he's not swarming him, not coming towards him, he's just dancing around, you're nice on the outside, then he chooses the moment when AJ is not focused, and he steps out. But what happens if AJ is still? and just standing there. Now Usyk's on the outside and AJ's still. AJ's not wasting energy trying to match that rhythmic flow. He's just still. And when he sees Usyk attack, fuck! It's going to be so much more easier for AJ to catch him if he's still. Which is going to be the first approach. Which I would say, but it depends. It could be easier, but it could be harder. But that is a cleaner style. For somebody like AJ, that stillness approach, in my opinion, will be the only style he could use. And the second, what Derek Chisora used, and he gave Usyk a really tough fight, Derek Chisora, is to swarm him. Now, Usyk's got his rhythm and his flow and he's moving, and you're just like, when Usyk's got his rhythm and he's doing this and doing that, you're not even acknowledging it. You're just moving him forward and throwing your big shots and forcing him to forget his rhythm and try to time defense of your offense. They're the two methods in which you're going to use. Most fighters lose to rhythm boxers because they're trying to follow the beat, but rhythm isn't something that you follow, it's something that you only control. So when you try to follow the beat, that's like AJ trying to catch Usyk out, and you will lose. But you can actually not even dance to the music. So you can either just press stop, just not dance to the music. And if you don't dance to the music and they're dancing alone, that's you being still. I'm just here, and he's dancing alone, and then you'll be able to catch them off guard. And the second way is you pick up the cassette and you just throw it from the window and you just attack. So of course that second way, you're going to be taking some serious licks back, so it's going to be in a lot harder style. But that is a proven method to beat rhythm boxers also. It's essential for boxers to learn to train with rhythm and balance, because rhythm and balance means your fundamentals are correct. But it's also very important for you to understand how to beat every single style, because you never know what style your opponent's going to come with. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, give me a subscribe, comment below what you liked, comment if you disagree with me, get the discussion going. Do you think that these styles I've mentioned will beat somebody like Oleksandr Usyk, or do you think I'm just a bit cuckoo, a bit mad? Because these are proven methods. And remember what I said to you about Crawford and Canelo? Proven methods in boxing always win, because there's nothing new under the sun. Anyway, I'm off. Regal Boxing Gym in Forest Gate, London.